comments in the chat. Shooter Breeze, topic number 3, says, when you tell black people how powerful they are, but they don't believe you, is it over for us? Are we beyond deprogramming? This came with a link that takes us to YouTube. What we'll do, we'll watch the video short. We'll watch it, and then we will comment.
You said you were on a show on February 26, 2021, an interview with Dr. Judy Mikovits, where you said the following, and I quote, "We should not be giving black people the same vaccine schedule that's given to whites because their immune system is better than ours." Can you please explain what you meant?
There's a series of studies, I think most of them by Poland, that show that to particular antigens that blacks have a much stronger reaction. There's differences in reaction to different products by different races.
So I have 17 seconds left. Let me just ask you then. So what different vaccine schedule would you say I should have received? What different vaccine schedule should I have received?
I mean, the Poland article suggests that blacks need fewer antigens than...
This is so dangerous.
So you get the same measles vaccine.
Mr. Kennedy, with all due respect, that is so dangerous. Your voice would be a voice that parents would listen to. That is so dangerous. I will be voting against your nomination because your views are dangerous to our state and to our country.
I mean, do you think...
Interesting prompt and video. I didn't really expect that video. For when you tell a black people how powerful they are, but they don't believe you. Is it over for us? Are we beyond deprogramming? That's an interesting prompt and video combination. I'll be curious to hear what others think about that, but I found that to be kind of curious, because I'll just say it suggests that when it comes to medicine and medical advice, that we should trust, as Ditso will call them, these gringos, in telling us that we are, super healthy or capable of being super healthy. It's just, to me, it's kind of a weird flex. But let me throw it to the panelists who are more knowledgeable than I. Black Steel, let me hear from you first on this. When you tell black people how powerful they are, they don't believe you. Is it over for us? Are we beyond deprogramming?
Oh boy, man. This, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, is called medical racism, right? And I'm really disturbed at the people who didn't get this, right? Have we regressed so much as a people that we don't understand what this man is saying to us? And it's not knowing our history. So it's a good book. Got this book on my shelf. I often mention it. Medical Apartheid, right? That talks about the way black people have been used through the medical system. And one thing is they mention in this book is how black people are immune, how we're resistant to pain, right? Black people can endure pain more than other people. And because of this idea that black people can endure pain more than others, it is being used as justification to even say, for example, deny black people pain medication. I had a tooth pulled. They gave me ibuprofen, right? You could take it, you tough, you black, right? Even now, black people get pain medication the least. Their concerns about pain are ignored. I often mention this, but the maternal mortality rate for black women is 3 times that higher than that of women of other races, the highest in the developed world. So much of that comes to the medical establishment literally ignoring black people's pain because we are supposed to be able to withstand. We're stronger than that. What was I going to say? Oh, yes. The father of gynecology, Dr. Marion Sims, right? He experimented on black women. He didn't give them any type of local or any type of anesthesia. And he did it because black people are able to withstand more pain. So this whole idea about black people don't need the same immunization schedule, that is going to be used to deny black people or impact us negatively. We already saw during the COVID epidemic that once it was realized that minorities were starting to be impacted by COVID more than white people, they really didn't give a fuck. They stopped caring at all. Open the schools, open the stores. The quarantine was over, even though people were still dying. 3,000 people a day were dying. They still didn't care. So this whole idea that black people need to be on a different immune system, they have an immune system that's stronger than ours, that is going to be used to deny us medical care and let us suffer. And I'm really upset that people aren't getting this. And when we say we're too far gone, or we're beyond deprogramming, I think that open the schools, man. Open the schools. George Bush, no child left behind. He needs to be in the Hague for war crimes or what he did to our educational system, because this is medical racism all day long, and people are saying it as if it's a good thing. So I'll leave it there. Thank you.
I appreciate that, Black Seal. I was wondering if I was the only one who picked up on it, but I should have known I wouldn't have been. I'm going to go to Oni next, but I was asked to play the video again. I'll play it one more time. Please pay attention. One more time, and then I'll get the rest of your responses.
I have you said you were on a show on February 26, 2021, an interview with Dr. Judy Mikovits, where you said the following, and I quote, "We should not be giving black people the same vaccine schedule that's given to whites because their immune system is better than ours." Can you please explain what you meant?
There's a series of studies, I think most of them by Poland, that show that to particular antigens that blacks have a much stronger reaction. There's differences in reaction to different products by different races.
So I have 17 seconds left. Let me just ask you then. So what different vaccine schedule would you say I should have received?
That
What different vaccine schedule should I have received?
I mean, the Poland article suggests that blacks need fewer antigens than.
This is so
you get the
dangerous.
same measles vaccine.
Mr. Kennedy, with all due respect, that is so dangerous. Your voice would be a voice that parents would listen to. That is so dangerous. I will be voting against your nomination because your views are dangerous to our state and to our country.
I mean, do you think science is dangerous, Senator?
Real quick before we get next, I want to say before you start, Koku, that black people being stronger was a justification for slavery. The idea was that when the Spanish first came to the Americas, they enslaved the Taino, but because the Taino, a lot of them, died, got sick from European diseases. The idea was that one African was as strong as four Indians. So this whole idea of us being stronger, more resilient, has literally been a justification for our enslavement.
I hate Black Steel. He took all my talking points except for one. I hate you.
My bad, bro. I'm sorry. I'll sit the fuck down. Sorry.
The truth is the truth. So we all like that's good. I like that you mentioned all that, but
Yeah,
you took all of my talking points
I'm gonna
except
say
for
the
one.
same thing as Kofi. Black still just took the whole talking points.
Only thing I was gonna
I'm now
mention.
mute.
Only thing I was gonna mention is that this is also a form of eugenics. This is also a form of eugenics, basically saying that these people are different from other people, but eugenics is basically saying these people aren't as human, or these are throwaways of society genetically. But everything that Black Steel says is basically the same thing that we said, and it goes to the FBA conversation when they were saying the eugenics conversation that we were having. And if you guys are saying that black people are the original Americans, to the example that Black Steel just gave, right? If you understand American history and slavery, they were trying to work the Native Americans, but they couldn't work the Native Americans due to smallpox. Especially the fact that we all know the story about they were giving them blankets as the first form of chemical germ warfare to kill out the Native Americans. So just like Black Steel said, one black person is just as stronger than a couple Native Americans. So undermines the whole genetic thing that we're genetically the same. Not to rehash old topics, but that's one of the points that I was bringing up. But it is all form of eugenics. It's all the reason why we were considered on 1/5 of a human being, because we aren't people. We're just a very smart animal. That's why in this country, besides the word DEI and woke and affirmative action and all these things, another code word for nigga would be boy. You know what I'm saying? Call a black man in his 70s boy. He's ready to fight you. He's ready to fight you because we all know what that means. We all know what that means. But he took all my talking points. I don't want to repeat everything, but yeah, he's absolutely right. One thing about the father gynecology, he had a statue here in New York in somewhere in Central Park, and a couple of years ago we had to fight to get it down because a lot of people didn't know who he was, so they started studying him. And I'll give it back to the panel.
Appreciate that. Without further ado, only in the chat you said the black woman took her glasses off like she'd uncover that she was actually a white woman. What else would you like to add to this conversation?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Y'all saw that when she's all talking to this dude calmly and whatever. She's like, "What do you think about black people?" And then she takes off his glasses. Like, what do you think I would have? Like, he knows who the fuck you are. They're here not fooling anybody. But yeah. I mean, actually, I think I'll borrow from Jose and our matron when they ask black people in Poland. Like, what are you talking about? like you doing a study on black people in the middle of Poland? Like, I don't see what that got to do with anything. Now, the other two things I want to point out is, let's say this is true, right? Or let's say that this is a real study and blah 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 blah. What if it's wrong? Because a lot of times we do get into the subject of, genetics. There's genetic patterns. Genetic patterns are such that, on a pattern level, black people might be this and white people might be that. But it's just a pattern. You understand? There's no hard rule, there's no fixed rule, and there are exceptions to patterns, right? So even if you say, well, because you're black, you don't need to be on this schedule, basically, even if it were the case that black people, generally speaking, didn't have to, on a specific level, that is not, it's not a universal. It's like, yeah, it's just not a universal, and that I think is why what the woman is saying about, hey, what you're saying is dangerous, has some validity, right? Um, that said, I don't know when he's going to get approved, but it seems like 9 times out of like it seems like come Thursday maybe, or whatever, he's going to be approved, and that should tell you about the impotence that black people in America are facing. Okay, because even if somebody gets up and blatantly says we're going to adjust um, helping the schedule for helping people based on race, because we read this, because and the justification is some study in the middle of Poland, not even an American study because you're in America, right? Some study in Poland where there are no black people, and it doesn't even matter if they justify it or not. The point is that they could sit there in front of black people's faces and white people will still say, you know what, this is who I want in charge of what, the health department, right? And as such, you're going to face the consequences of that. Because now you're going to get a different health premium. You're going to get different health coverage. They are going to do this open air discrimination. And I know the sister said, segregation was better than integration. Black people didn't think so. You know what I'm saying? like very few black people were of the opinion that integration wasn't the move. And if people don't recall the situation in segregation, you just got to read Malcolm X. You just got to read Asada Shakur. Okay, they spelled it out explicitly. Malcolm X told us, hey, you know what? Like 90, like I don't know if he said, like I think he said 50% or or something like that, but maybe more than 50% of black people were unemployed or on welfare. In his city of Lansing, Michigan, or something like that, right? It was Lansing and that, but the point is, he says a great number of them were either unemployed or on welfare, and the only jobs they could find were as porters on trains, or they were as hustlers, just grifting their people with gambling, right? This is not my words. This is the words of Malcolm X. Okay, the point is that white people are making it clear, right, that you're on an allowance. Okay, they're allowing you to get medical care. They're allowing you to get jobs. They're allowing you to use the internet. And they don't. And the thing is that me personally, like I said, I don't. White man don't give me no allowance for nothing. Okay, but if you're gonna be rocking with this white boy, you got to remember you're on an allowance. And if it's not clear, guess what? When you go to the hospital and they're telling you, well, because you're black, I mean, we already see the maternity rate, right? But as that gets more extreme and that gets more formalized, you'll just say, oh well, you know what? Maybe things were a little bit before, when the allowance was a little more less clear. But it is what it is, Um, it is what it is. That's all I got to say.
Appreciate that, Oni. Let's have from Buana next. Buana would say.
Yeah, Coco, I want to troll a little bit. So it's what I'm saying here is like when I hear some FDA talk about they want to delineate, he's delineating. Yeah, he's delineating. This is how delineating looks. Yeah. He says genetically, you all are different from us, so we need to have different medicines. And this sister right here, this beautiful sister, she said, no, 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 no. We want your medicine because ain't I a man too? You remember we used to carry them signs back in the day when Martin Luther King, like, ain't I a man too? She's basically saying, like, ain't I a woman, a human being too? So, we need to get the same medicines as y'all because we need, we can't delineate from y'all. We can't delineate because y'all are like us and we are like y'all genetically. Even though you hear conversations like, oh, y'all ain't really human beings, she's making it clear. No, no, we want y'all medication too because we don't want to delineate. But they want to delineate from the South, all the black Negroes in the South. Yeah, we could give them different medicines, but we want the same medicines as y'all getting because we are Americans like y'all, so we don't want to delineate. Needless to say, some of the things what America does is they send aid around the world. This is what they say. They send aid around the world. And some of the foods they send, they'll stamp on it, not for sale in the USA. So for me, I'm looking at that and saying, why would I ever want to eat food that the chefs don't eat themselves? I would never eat food that the chefs themselves will never eat. So that means for me, I need to find a food source or create one myself. Because I know that they're making a special concoction for me, especially when they send in rice to these so-called third world countries, they have a stamp on it that says not for sale in the United States or not for U.S. distribution. So that means why would I ever eat food that you ain't gonna eat? So why would I ever take medication that you don't want to eat? What that you wouldn't want to take yourself? Why would I ever want to take that medication? Obviously, you're telling me something. You're telling me two things. You're telling me you may not have my best interest at heart, number one. And number two, you need to go find your own food source. Because if you rely on these people to feed you 20 and 30 years later, you have cancers in your society that you don't know how it get there. You don't know how it get there. So, like I say, I told the brothers before, unfortunately, this is the unfortunate reality, and I don't want to play with this. Black people don't move until their back is against the wall. This is what Marcus Garvey said. This is what the president of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, said. The president, Uhuru Kenyatta, said just the other day, he said, okay, so the United States doesn't want to give us aid anymore. But they have a right to do that. So now it's our right to find the things that we need to do to feed our societies. We need to provide food and care for our own societies. We need to find our own way themselves. They don't have to give us money forever. They don't supposed to give us money forever. We need to find an alternative route. We and the West and some of these countries have grown so dependent on this idea of just sticking your hand out and letting other people provide for you. You have become a slave to their charity. You have become a slave to their charity. And the only way to cure that is if you create a condition where you could provide for you and food, clothes, and shelter for yourself. He is telling you, this is the man who is supposed to be in charge of the Department of Health. Yeah, he's telling you what is on his mind. So are black people are going to still take the medications that the government distributes to them, or are they going to find an alternative way? You better find an alternative way, because you know what's in his mind, and he is going into that high office, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not. So unfortunately, this is the conundrum, a question that black people around the world got to solve. What must we do next? Because you have no choice now. You have no choice. And some people say, well, I don't want to mess with people who didn't want to deal with me before. You have no choice. You have no choice. You have to do it for self. You have to get it out of the mud. Yes, well, anyways, let me leave that. Oh, thank you, Coco. I'll stop there.
No, but one before you go, what about the prompt? The idea that black people are powerful but don't believe it. So when this white guy says that, yeah, y'all don't need the same vaccines as us, we supposed to believe that we're powerful people, but we're not. So what say you to that aspect of the prompt?
Coco, with the greatest respect, brother, black people on the world over, have displayed the fact that insurmountable odds, how great they. Look at a country like Haiti. There is no time in human history that a slave population has become the rulers of a society. It's never happened. Look in America. In America, black people have came there initially as slaves, and eventually ended up in the high offices. Whether we want to, whatever political game we want to play, they have been able to ascend to the highest offices of the American government and in strategic positions. Not only that, they have innovated all over the world with all manner of different kinds of things. Right? Now, this president in power, president in chief, wants to pretend as if this history don't exist. But the history is on record. Now, I can't. It is this difficult sometimes. This issue of selling the Negro to himself. We talk about this all the time. Some brothers then put on their blinders and say, "I don't care what you say. We have nothing. We have no state. We have no issue. No matter what the insurmountable evidence that's before them, they'll always have an argument to say we can't do it because of these reasons." There will be people like that. And the people like that is going to always exist. But usually, the people who do the work, there's something called the Pareto principle. The Pareto principle. The Pareto principle is like in a work scenario, usually the people who's most effective is 20%. Okay? It's 20%. The 80% just talking, the 80% just beating their feet, the 80% just coming to work to look at the clock, to wait till the clock and finish. But usually 20% of the people doing the work. If we have 20 strategic people who are diligent in doing what we need to do and understand where we are and where we need to go, the things will get done. The 80% will have to bring up the rank. In Hitler Germany, the Nazi Party represented a small minority of people, but they was able to galvanize in a way that they was able to control the government, all aspects of it. So is the Make America Great crowd. These people was extremists. These people were so far in the right, no one was really listening to them until people started listening to, until America got themselves in a situation, and then they got financial backing. They get all manner of different kind. Only a small group of people, Trump and his other little ridiculous people, and then everybody fell in line. Well, what goes for them, it's the same thing goes for the black world as well. There will always be people who are naysayers. The black man has no brain, the black man who can't do it. I'm not worried about these people. I'm worried about the vanguard. If the vanguard is the tip of the spear, the people who are not only talking, but actually doing. People like Traore, not Dr. Johnson, Traore. The people who are getting things actually done on the ground in their respective countries. These things spread like a disease. The success of groups of people, it spreads like a disease. When Nkrumah decided to become an independent nation in Ghana in 1958, that spread throughout Africa like a disease. And everybody wanted to be liberated and independent after Nkrumah did it. So I'm concerned about the vanguard. He already believes in the success of the black man. In fact, in his flag, he had the black star. He had the Marcus Garvey philosophy from back then. We already didn't convince him. So it was all about him executing. So this is what I actually look at. I do try the best as I can to Negroes who are unconvinced to sell him to himself, but I'm more concerned about people who won't listen to the message and try to execute it. Because by and large, the people them want dance and party and drink a lick and eat crack on. It is what it is. It is what it is. But my buy-in is right now is with the vanguard. The people who go not only hear the message, but actually try to apply the principles of what we talk about every Saturday night on the Bitter Meds. But I'll leave it there, Coco.
Appreciate that. Let's hear from Brother Bakari. Brother Bakari, what's it? Bakari, you muted if you're talking. Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, I don't know. I might have forgot, but Juana talked a long time. But anyway, this prompt, this is good for the people talk about. They got their magic melanin, so he's telling the truth. We are more powerful. We don't need this and we don't need that. So, this is going to be good for some people, but anybody who will listen to somebody who tell you that swimming in a public pool make you gay, something is wrong with you. Something is absolutely wrong with you. This man say swimming in a public pool made you gay. I'm just going to ask a question. Do any of y'all swim in a public pool? Yes or no? So according to him, most of y'all friends
I used to swim in the public pool of a car, and I'm so gay I can't even drive straight. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Most of our friends just gay. Like, what's the purpose of it? But this is what happened when black people ain't serious. When you let a regime in, and now you got somebody, let a regime in that's in there now. When black people ain't serious, and you can get people up here and promote that, and you get people who side with the Arabs over black folks, and this is what happens. So now black people got to look and wonder, like, damn. See, even if we don't win, us sticking together against the KKK and the neo-Nazis was extremely beneficial. But I realized we're going to have people that don't want to stick with them. So now you have neo-Nazis and KKK in positions they're going to tell you that your immune system is so strong, you truly just don't need medication. And that's going to work for some people. People that's going to tell you vaccines that just ain't no good. Watch this. I'm not even a big proponent of vaccines like that, but I'm not a damn fool. I'm not a damn fool either. Ain't no water made nobody gay, bro. But They're just like people. But but this is what. So when you have people, right, who don't understand, I ask who created vaccines? Who bought vaccines here? Right? But we think it's cool to suffer. You have someone in the chat right now promoting segregation was so much better. How can something be better when you paying taxes and you got somebody telling you where you can't go? We are the only people. We have a monopoly on oppression. We have a monopoly on being treated bad, and we are proud of it. We think that's good. Somebody can tell you where you can't go. We need to understand there's a difference between integration and desegregation. But when you paying taxes to folks and they telling you where you cannot go, you can't go to this side of town. Desegregation, you have your place where you live, but you can go, something happened on this side of town, you can go to the hospital and make sure you're okay. See, people like this woman, Cheryl, I bet you if she asked her to name somebody from the civil rights generation, she gonna name who everybody know, who they done talked about on YouTube. She don't know nobody, ain't done nothing. See, these the type of black people. See, these the type of black people right here. If she's black, because I don't know if she's black, because we on here and ain't never seen her, so I can't say she's black. But these the type of people right here, even if she is black, for me, you just have to let go. You just have to let go. Everything that they benefit, most of the stuff they benefit from now, being able to go where you want to go, come from the civil rights generation. But these dislaw, I can't say it like Denzel said it on, I can't say it like Denzel said it on Training Day. Dislaw, bitch made, fool ass punks, or something to that. That's what we have when it comes to black people, shitting on black people who gave their life for them. And I can't deal with those type of black people. Just like I can't deal with those type of black people that clearly will tell you, I choose the KKK. I know what side I'm on. I know what side I'm on. But I'm going to choose the KKK. I'm going to choose what they believe. I'm going to choose what the neo-Nazis believe. And that's what I'm going to be with. Because white people, think about, listen to black people mentality. How many have you heard say this? We need to be treated bad. That'll help us get in line. Have you heard them say that? Maybe somebody like this will get us in line, make us do right. Think of that mentality. You need a white person to treat you bad because you need some white bigot to treat you bad because that will make black folks get in line and do right. But as far as this prompt, like they say, medical apartheid, he's a bigot. But hey, you know what? We got the magic melanin, and it's gonna be some telling people that, and you tell some people that, they got the magic melanin. It's gonna be a lot of.
Looks like Cheryl cut Bakari's internet. Here he comes again. Hold on. All right, Bakari, finish your thought there. Nah, I guess he dropped again.
You know what's crazy about this situation? This dude is not a doctor. Could you imagine being made attorney general and you're not a lawyer, or the head of Department of Education, you're not a teacher? This dude is just a regular dude. We're watching YouTube videos and they're making him in charge of the FDA. This is insane. You know what? We talk a lot about Trump, and Trump is a problem. But it's not just Trump, it's the people he brings with him, right? Could you imagine somebody, I'm laughing to keep from crying, right? But could you imagine just putting this clown in front of Congress, and he's gonna get in. That's the thing. He's gonna get in. That's the thing that we have to realize. They're not gonna deny that he's gonna be put in charge of this whatever department he's running for. But he's not a doctor. He has no medical training. So it's crazy that he's being brought up like this. And whatever Cheryl's talking about, I guess maybe her dude wants to cheat on her with a white woman because she goes in hard when it comes to interracial dating, man. She banging on that drum every time we come in here. You want to see your white women. You want to listen.
Don't,
It's okay. Let it go. All right.
but
You wasn't no good. But
you don't even know if you don't even know if she's black. When these
I don't know, but
when
I'm
these
assuming
people
she
get
is.
on here
I'm
talking like
assuming.
that, what?
But let me say
But you know,
real
people
quick.
assumed.
Real quick, I'm gonna just say this. As somebody who grew up, I was born in 81, right? My grandmother was born in 1923, right? My grandmother's brother is still alive to this day. You know, he's in his old. My grandfather just died in December. He was 87. So I grew up with black people who grew up during segregation and during Jim Crow, right? None of them was out here trying to sleep with white women, right? They was actually trying to go to work and get jobs, right? They were actually trying to be paid fairly. They wanted to be able to live in decent housing and not be accosted on the street because you didn't step out the way for a white man, right? It wasn't about snuggling up to some Becky. That is ahistorical and it's disrespectful to our ancestors and what they experienced. Okay, I think you would benefit by talking to some of them and understanding what they experienced and what they went through. They don't know black person who experienced that wants to go back. They would literally murder black people in front of thousands of white people for fun. That would be a whole community outreach. They have a fair. They're gonna kill us a nigga tonight. That was their form of entertainment. No black people want to go back through that. All right. So I would say just talk to some black people who grew up in that time period.
Real quick,
Don't know,
Bakari,
you know, and
Bakari,
like
finish your thought, and then I got to get to three other people. Go ahead.
I, I'm trying to finish because my thing I keep having technical difficulties. But don't nobody want to go through that. They can name a few towns, but how many black people could get to all of those areas? That is something they don't want to talk. It's good, you know, people with these YouTube degrees. You understand what I'm saying? With these YouTube degrees, they can mention a couple of things, but don't want to look at everything. Desegregation was better than integration. But if you look at civil rights leaders, especially if you know some and you talk to some, you would realize that's what most people, that's what most people was fighting for. That's what most people wanted. And now Ross say the gay bomb and what they did to fish in the aquarium. I don't live in the water, in no aquarium, and I ain't no fish. They said the same thing about frogs, but did nobody get gay? All these people on the panel say they swim in public pools. None of them gay. All y'all friends gay. See, man, it's just crazy. And that's what I'm talking about when I say it's going to be a lot of black people talking about he's telling the truth. Our magic is so powerful, and our hair, when it go up to the sky, that gonna make us even strong. It's gonna be a whole lot of crazy stuff on YouTube said about that statement, and that's what they are gonna point out. They're not gonna mention medical apartheid. They're not gonna mention racism in the medical industry with this idiot. They're gonna start talking about a whole bunch of. They're gonna have Phil Valentine talk about it, and ain't no telling what he gonna say.
I appreciate that, Brother Bakari. Jose, what say you to all of it?
100% what Brother Bakari just said. 100%. It's actually the cope, the cope, the fuel that is driving this FBA movement, right? I made a meme where I mimed a meme of President Johnson's quote about just give the lowest white man something to look down to, and you can rob him clean. And that's it feeds the ego of the bottom of the society, this society is about looking down. It's not about who's on top. I'm tired of us calling it white supremacy. It's about black subjugation. So if you are black and you are at the bottom, who do you have to look down to, right? You have nobody to look down to. Everybody has somebody to look down to, and they say black, but they don't mean black. They mean African, right? If you, I hope you're following me. So yes, black folks are inclined to grab that straw of you see we are stronger. You see we are stronger. It's like black women bragging about being the most educated demographic, and yeah, that's a reason to take away funding for black colleges, right? So yeah, I'm afraid Bakari brought the strongest point, that our people are receptive for this type of straws to cling on to. But my original point was, this mofo picks a study from Poland, the most homogenic country in Europe. No mosques, no nothing. Yeah, I've seen those videos of salsa events with Polish women dancing with African men. But it's still the most homogenic European country. It's the country where those tests were held on people in those camps. So what studies is this mofo talking about? Is he is actually reaching to eugenics? I mean, be aware of how pressing, that's pressing, that's important to think about what this motherfucker is actually saying, when you see Musk pushing for the same shit, you know with his "my heart goes out to you" nonsense. I mean, there were a couple of seconds between his Ave Caesar greeting and his hand on his chest saying "my heart goes out to you." So those were separate things. And then there is the chief clown with his uh, DEI talks and shit. Yeah, I don't know about this 47th. I don't know. Things are going very fast, and this motherfucker pointing to eugenics studies tells a story, and we should be. I'm afraid we should be way more, ringing the alarm way louder than we do now, in action. And yeah, I mean, Exodus, man. It's Exodus time. Let these motherfuckers do their industrialized tribal wars without us. You know. Okay, I'm happy for this woman taking off her glasses, and she made it. She has her PhD, and she found a nice job. But I don't know, man. Time to leave, because these clowns are with their backs on the wall. And you know what barbarians do when their backs are at the wall. It's bloodshed. I mean, this is serious. This is serious. Don't underestimate what this motherfucker just said. Just did what he's doing, and that's it.
Appreciate that, Jose. I don't know if Cheryl is in the bitter medicine chat, or she's on the KWAZ radio chat. But Cheryl, if you look in the bitter medicine chat, if you're not in there, switch over to there, and you'll see some resources only posted for you to check out, and a question Bakari had for you as well. Let me get to Wardrum. You've been patiently waiting, quiet. What are your thoughts on everything you've heard?
Yeah, man. My whole view has been like we should have been gone a long time ago. I'm one of the Pan Africans that believe we should have left. We have the doctors, the scientists, and all of that. All we need is a homeland. America is never going to be our homeland, never. So the segregation or the integration. Neither one of them's going to work. We should have left when Garvey said leave. Everybody should have left. You know, we got this dude. He's sitting there saying we don't need medicine. We need our own scientists and doctors coming up with our own medicines, doing our own studies. The Africa supplies the world with everything. If we control Africa, we control the world. I mean, we don't have to exclude anybody from getting anything, even though we could. But if we're doing our own thing in our own place, the Asians, they could be doing the technology thing. They need some of the minerals, the coltan, cobalt. They come in, they bring us a certain amount of the stuff they're making. Okay, it's worth this amount of stuff. You can take and go make more. You know, then we take the stuff that they bring, we can reverse engineer it, make our own. Same thing with weaponry, defense, uh, you know, SAM sites, missiles, all of this stuff, tanks, jets, whatever we need. Everybody has to come to Africa to get what they need to make what they want to become the powerful nations that they are. And we sit in their nation trying to, I don't know what you call it, man, sit beside them in the nation. And, I hear a lot of the FBA people and stuff, they say, oh, we built this nation. We didn't build this nation. We were forced to build the nation. So I don't have any pride in this country at all. But, like I say, I'm just one guy. And people have different viewpoints, but we should have been gone. That's just the way I see it. That's it.
I appreciate that, War Drum. Good stuff. I appreciate that. Uh, but Bakari put it out there in case. Oh, two things real quick before I go to Ditso. Cheryl is black because she tried to come on the panel one time and her mic camera's on. I could confirm she's black. But Cheryl, Brother Bakari put the offer out to you to join the panel, join the conversation. So click the link if you can and join us if possible. With that said, let's go to Ditso. Ditso, what are your thoughts on all of it?
Well, first of all, damn you, Black Steel, you took the fucking points. All right. So,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
damn
long-winded,
you.
bro. My bad. My bad.
No, you did awesome, man. Dude, you rocked it on that. So, picking up and giving credit to Black Steel in that sense, and picking up from his points. First point, RFK Jr. lied his ass off and just said stupidity after stupidity after stupidity in that particular hearing. Just to give an example, on that same hearing, Mr. RFK said that a study, which he did not cite, indicated that black kids developed more autism because of the MMR vaccines. He was caught on the lie. The study he mentioned on this particular video was actually a reference of a Mayo Clinic study that it shows that there was a a higher autoimmune response out of black Americans in the United States. However, the pool to which they referred was very small. Not only that, but the author of that particular study, which I was able to locate in that sense, stated uh, there was no reasoning whatsoever to differentiate the scheduling of that vaccine towards population it, by race or whatever. So RFK lied his ass off right now. And that type of idiot, scammer, and mass murderer like RFK. And why do I say mass murder? Because if anybody knows a little bit of the history of RFK, you would know that he is responsible for a missile outbreak in Samoa after a visit with his terrorist organization, anti-vaccine terrorist organization, and that happened. Now, to the point of the question, in this subject, and just to make it very simple, making clear a distinction of the diversity of blackness throughout the whole world, and speaking on particularly my area of blackness, but perhaps a little bit pretentious in wanting to expand on this aspect. Number one, let's face it. In the last 124 years, the expectancy of life in humanity has risen exponentially. If we look at throughout the whole world in that sense, and we look at, for example, Middle Africa, the expectancy of life in 1900s was anywhere between 26 to 36, uh, at the age of that in Middle Africa, and it has risen up to 60, almost 70 years in the last 124 years. But if we just go here on the Western Hemisphere, same thing. We see that, for example, in South America, the life expectancy by the beginning of the century was about 51, and now has risen to 74, 75. Uh, that's an average. I'm speaking in average numbers. So the question is, how has life expectancy been incremented in humanity, and what are the factors that played a major role in that increment of life expectancy, regardless of race, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of point of origin in the world? Well, one of those factors is vaccines. And that's a matter of fact. The fight against measles, the fight against the yellow fever, the fight against uh, sarampion. I'm thinking on the illnesses in Spanish. The fight against flu, for example, etc. So, in this sense, the empowerment or understanding that one principal requirement for for us to know the power we have is also the power of saying to those charlatans that wants to sell us this type of eugenics or pseudo religious bullshit of whatever kind, nature, or form, or they just want to pass like these saviors of communities, etc. We can then say that one of those major powers is education. And in matters of health, yes, there's no denying the misuse of science against Africans or Black Americans from Argentina up to United States, etc. Being an example of that, the Tuskegee experiment. There's no doubt that those issues happen. But because of the misuse of idiots that used science as a weapon, does not mean that the advancements of science are not there to be utilized in order to have better perspectives of lives against illnesses and other conditions in that sense. And that we cannot fall into the game of eugenics and pseudoscientific positions that then feed into those fears that then put our lives and health in risks. Because then we will be doing the work that the what God wants. So empowerment means, in a very clear and concise way, the capability of education, the capability of progressing through that education, the capability of, yes, hell, having doctors, having lawyers, having architects, having all those type of things in order to be able to assist our communities and societies with the best interests in hand, with the necessary interest in hand. So, in very short and concise way, we are not far gone, but we're enabling, without doubt, that the charlatans, both external and internal, lead us to that point of no return. That's all I wanted to say.
I appreciate that. Did so in the chat. Cheryl says, "Do y'all know how hard it is to teach our children to stay away from these Caucasoids?" She goes on in chat and says, "Social media, TV, billboards, schools all teach them that interracial is the way to go. That's what civil rights fought for." War Drum in the chat says, "Segregation is a death trap." This is our last topic for the night, but does anyone have any last thoughts about this particular prompt before we go to shoutouts?
I didn't know that about RFK and the measles outbreak and some. That's crazy. That is crazy. I did not know this man went to his people. I just looked it up. 83 people died.
Yeah,
That is nasty work.
he's a
He
mass
told them
murderer.
not to take the vaccine, right? And then they didn't take the vaccine, right? And
So
that's how,
the
and that's what
just
happened. I'm like, because I heard of it. I'm just making sure. I'm asking, is that how it happened?
Yeah, just in short, what happened was there were actually two deaths of people, of children who had died when a vaccine was applied. But it was found out later that it was human error, that the person who applied that vaccine had mistaken a combination of muscle relaxant and the vaccine and injected muscle relaxant combined with a vaccine into the person. After investigations and everything, it was determined that this person had no. Uh, this person did not do this because they wanted to do harm or anything like that. It was a seasoned nurse, but who had been working well over 12-hour shifts, and who, after pretty much 3 days of working her ass off, was tired. And that tiredness led to the error, which then led to the death of the children. So, in this sense, he took benefit of that. There was a pause by the government of Samoa of the vaccines till that investigation was done. And that's when his organization came in. And he did everything to convince people not to get vaccines.
Yeah, I want to say something, Coco, if I can.
Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah. Last thoughts. Go ahead.
Sure. So this is going to be kind of controversial, but I gotta say it because this is what I think. I think that Donald Trump is a necessary evil for the black world. I think he's a necessary evil, and the reason why I say that is I, I already initially said black people don't move until their back is against the wall. Unfortunately, and I'll back it up by saying this: black people had Marcus Garvey, one of the greatest leaders in the 20th century. Black people decide we want Barabbas. We want Barabbas. Barabbas is Babylon. Barabbas is the government, the American government. The Barabbas is integration. Black people had Elijah, after Marcus Garvey came people like Elijah Muhammad. Black people say we want Barabbas. Barabbas is just an analogy in terms of the Bible. I don't know if people are familiar with the Bible, but in the Bible, there was a choice between Jesus and Barabbas. And the Roman leader at the time, Pontius Pilate, say, well, choose which one of the people you want to either go get the death sentence and either to be set free. And the Jews at the time say, we want Barabbas instead of so-called Jesus, the savior at the time. So I'm using that analogy.
Now you got to be careful, Buana.
I'm using it for a reason. I'm
That's
being very careful.
anti-Semitism.
I'm being careful for a reason.
I know, I'm messing with you. That's
To see if I
anti-Semitism,
can
though.
spread to the largest amount of people as possible. That's why I'm using a Christian analysis. So they had Gavi, then you had Elijah Muhammad, who say, do for self. Separation is the key. Not integration, not segregation, separation. We want Barabbas. We want Barabbas. This is what the black community says. Then you had Martin Luther King. Say, we want justice and equality and fairness. Black community say, we want Barabbas. They say, Martin Luther King, he is an old preacher who will sleep with a bunch of different women. We're going to disrespect him. We're going to disrespect what he stands for. We want Barabbas. You know who Barabbas is? Now, there's a guy named Big Meech. Big Meech coming out of jail. After spending 30 years. So all the rappers, big name rappers are influenced about to attend to the Big Meech concert. You know? And everybody about to shroud them, but we could disrespect Martin Luther King, but we gonna big up Big Meech. Find out who Big Meech is, if people who don't know who Big Meech is. And then the same audience says, we want these kinds of initiatives that these people bring in power because we want Barabbas. We want Barabbas in power. So we want Bull Corner. We want to see Bull Corner 2.0. Bull Corner is, for people who don't know who Bull Corner is, just look up that name, Bull Corner. We want Barabbas. We want Bull Corner for this generation. So I say, after having the greatest of the greats, who is to put into your face what is the deal for the black world, we're going to give the audience what they want. We're going to give them Barabbas. Unfortunately, I don't want to see black people suffer. I don't want to see black people suffer. And I don't want to see black people, let me finish though. I don't want to see black people suffer. And I don't want to see harm. Well, that's fine. I don't want to see harm come to black people. But unfortunately, I believe that black people is only moved when they forced to move. Now we're gonna put the problem front and center, and we're gonna give the audience what they want and see what they do with it. I know personally if Donald Trump says, okay, we don't want your N-words up in our universities, where is the black people gonna educate their children if not black universities? Now, you may not want to deal with them, and you may not want to do business with them, but you will not reject the monies that is going to come in from their children being sent to their universities because they're not being allowed in white universities. You're not going to say, no, hell no, we could deal with you, no. You're not going to do that because it's going against your idea of black voice, black universities, and all that other things. But like I say, I'll just leave it there. I just wanted to put that out there, and I'll let Brother Bakari tell me how much of a lie I am. Go ahead, bro.
When you listen to any soft shoe, weak shit like that, and I'm just being honest with you, a black man gonna tell you we need a good white man to get us in order. We need that good racist bigot to threaten to kill you. We need him to tell you he gonna bring his military to you. That gonna make us work together. Them the type of black people, in my honest opinion, I don't want to be around. Because if they need a white person to tell them to come be around black people, it's not genuine no way. They over here around you because they scared of the KKK. And we got these over here who's agreeing with the KKK. It's good because when they come, they gonna get you in order. Something got to be goddamn wrong with black folk. We can't think for ourselves. You need somebody who who can sit here and tell you how he want to hurt you, how he want to come and be violent with you with your military. Well, that's what we need to get us together. If he just gone, then can say, but I don't want to see us hurt. That shit is stupid. It's like the whole statement is like, it's contradictory. I don't want to see you hurt, but we need him to do this to get you in order. If you say you need him to do it, you want to see him hurt, which means you want to see them hurt because you think that's gonna get them in, that's gonna wake them up and get them in order, which is absolutely asinine to me. Black people sitting here waiting on some white person to try to kill them to say, you know what? Now we gonna get together. Who you gonna get together with? You ain't gonna get together with me. See, because like I said, me and my crew, we gonna be okay. I don't ask nobody, but like I said, shit hit the fan. I've been preparing for the zombie apocalypse for a while. So when stuff hit the fan, I ain't reaching out, asking nobody, can you come help me? I ain't going through all that. This is something we've been talking about for years. This is stuff people been seeing for years. So if you need the neo-Nazis, you can't say they ain't because his right-hand man, Musk, he threw it up at the damn inauguration. So if you need the neo-Nazis, and if you need the Klan, and if you need people telling you if he loses, it's gonna be, they have threatened you in so many different ways. They have told you how they're gonna hurt you. If you need folks to sit there at a city council meeting and tell you what they gonna do to Haitians because they don't want those people in their community. So it ain't them. The problem is us who need that. And the problem is us telling people that. So if you have young people listening to this, we will have young black people saying, yeah, you know, that's good. We need some white folks that gonna come in and treat us bad and want to do this to us, and they got the power. That's gonna straighten us up. That's basically what he just said. That's the message we want to push to black people. Y'all don't see a problem with that message.
So hold on, Bakari, because I'm gonna say this, and I want you to take this and receive it in the spirit that I'm giving it to you. Okay, I do not think that we need somebody like Trump, but Trump is an accelerationist, right? Trump is gasoline. The American empire is already in decline, right? Trump, by his actions, whether intended to or not, is actually speeding up the process of the decline of America, right? So we don't need him in that Trump is good for us, he's going to hurt us, but it is good that Trump is actually causing the decrease. He's turning on his allies. He's doing everything possible to make America into a quote unquote third world country. So with that being said, I'm not a Trump fan, but I do understand what Trump is doing. And it's not good for America, which could be in turn good for black people if we are organized and are able to take advantage of the chaos that he's doing.
If I may kick
I'm
in
being,
there for one quick second, Bakari.
wait 1 second, wait 1 second. I
Yeah,
want to say this. 1 second, please. Some being good for black people is one thing, but to hear black people talking about black folks need Trump because that's what it takes to get black people in order. That's the problem that I have. This is what it takes to get black people in order. That means black people ain't gonna ever be in order, which means, like I said, I don't want to deal with those black people that need some bigot to treat them like this to say, now we can work together. I don't want those black because it's not genuine. And they are waiting for an opportunity to turn on you. Because they need somebody like this to make them think like we thinking black because of this.
Knock your shit over.
That's the point. That's the point I'm making. That's all I'm saying. We like black folks need to be treated. We've been treated bad all these years here. Want me to talk about the lynchings since the year 2000, the murders since year 2000? So everything that black folks done went through, ain't straightened black folks up. You understand what I'm saying? But now this person who done sent out all the threats gonna straighten black folks up. Black folks don't want to straighten up then. If this is what it's gonna take.
So
This
if I may kick in there for a quick second, because I just couldn't hold it any longer. I'm gonna add something to the point of Black Steel of his controversial comment. If we take his argument on face value and then take it to the extended or to the extreme possibility and its conclusion of saying if Trump would become a beneficial stupidity that then will enable black people to separate, then I would argue that we also have to separate from Islam, from Christianity, from Abrahamic religions, because they are also used as tools to destroy black identity. I would argue that we would have to divorce ourselves from Spanish, English, Portuguese, any other language of the European nature and start developing our own language. I would argue that taking your logical extreme uh, and completely getting rid of the analogy of Barrabas or Bar. Sorry, I'm so used to saying its name in Spanish that difficult for me to pronounce it in some other language. But Barrabas, eliminating that analogy, I would give the examples of, for example, Tupac Katari in Bolivia, who whose intention was the elimination of the white race, or the actions of Pablo Presber in Costa Rica, who whose revolution burned 14 Catholic church temples that were constructed here, and when killed, I don't know, about 20, 30 monks and Catholic fathers, soldiers, and even a wife of one of the high soldiers here, and their children. I would argue that if that is so beneficial, then we gotta say fuck off to anything that is related to those who colonized us.
Again, I want to repeat something. If the alternative has not been effective, and I mentioned a series of people who've been impactful in the black community and what the black community still there towards and ask for consistently what they want. I say give the people what they want. And if the answer to that is, the people should be able to think for themselves, they have. And they have decided what they wanted. They want Bull Corner. They want Bull Corner. They want Big Meech. They want Donald Trump and a Donald Trump initiative. Don't want it to move away from that. They want to delineate from the Black South, and they want what they want. So you give the people them what they want, what they're asking for, and
Sure.
the consequences of
Even,
that, we'll have to deal with.
well, the
When
Romans.
Donald Trump says, when Donald Trump says, outside of the Americas, that we want to stop aid in Africa and Caribbean countries. Prior to that, African and Caribbean countries have been sucking off the American tit for years, claiming independence, but not actually practicing it. Now, you are being challenged to actually practice what you preach. Not rules for me and not for thee, but practicing what you preach. Now that you are being forced to do it, I don't particularly think it's a bad thing that somebody telling you you need to be free and act like a free man rather than just talking like one. Because all us have these big claims and whatever, but I'm saying that doing is something different from saying that you're gonna do. So still I stand on my statement. Donald Trump is a necessary evil for the black world.
And you know, and I stand on mine.
And
Well, I don't, me, I don't want to be around no black person who say this is what they need to try and do right. So for the people who claim they pan Africanness and all that, and who did he get to be his over the Department of DOJ? Pete Hegseth, and he've already told you what he want to do to Niger and what they want to do to the Sahel states. We don't want to hear no complaining, because don't act like don't hear no complaining. Because most of the people who saying Donald Trump is a necessary evil or they need Donald Trump, trust me, they ain't gonna fight nothing. And they ain't trying to fight. They are just happy because they want, most of these people want to be the Stevens from Django. I don't get it. Well, black people can tell, I don't get it, and I never will understand it. Well, black people can tell you they need, just think of that mentality. I need the white bigot who hate me to get me in order, to get me in line, to make me act right. Just think of that mindset. It doesn't make sense. Or maybe
It only makes sense, but Bakari,
One second,
you only talking about one part of the argument, you're not addressing the other one.
it doesn't
Buana,
make sense.
one second. Gotta I gotta acknowledge the sister Cheryl has tried to join the panel several times now. I think she can hear us. Now, Cheryl, can you hear us? I guess I was wrong. I thought she could hear us. Uh,
Cheryl got called out, huh? Okay, all right.
Cheryl, say something now.
Yes, can I be heard?
Yes, you can. Go ahead.
Okay, well, it's very nice to be on your panel. I'm not going to be too long. I just want to preface everything that I'm saying by just saying I do have a very healthy respect for all the elders on this. None of this is meant to, say anything negative against you. It's just that as Black people today, if you ask a Black person, do your best to support only Black businesses, what type of response do we normally get? Normally get, oh well, I don't want to do that, or yeah, I'll do it later, or I don't see the importance. This is the problem that we have as a people. And this is what integration has done to us. Now, it's not to say that one is better than the other. That's not what's being argued. What we're trying to do is an analysis, and that's all. That's all. And we have to acknowledge the things that we have owned at one point in time versus the things that we own now, which is nothing, absolutely zero. We have absolutely no ownership over nothing at all. And no, I mean, it wasn't the greatest during segregation. I never advocated for segregation. All I'm saying is that we need have the same mindset in terms of supporting each other economically. And that's where we struggle. We always have every excuse in the book. We go and run to these white corporations. We run to the white restaurants and white this and white that. And we make all the excuses not to support a Black business, not to support our own people. And that is what integration has done to us. And like I said earlier in the chat, I mean, I have a child now, and even before that, you can see it in this generation that we have now. Everything is integration. Everything is biracial. Being with this white man, being with this white woman. That's what it is today. You see it in the television. It's in every commercial, and this is the path that we have been led down. And the brother said earlier that Trump is a necessary evil, I don't like to kind of frame things in that way, but I don't disagree with him. I don't disagree with him because now black people are just like, oh, we really got to work hard now. Oh, we got to work hard to keep the white man, and he's going to come with his KKK troops. Oh no, like they've always been there. It's just it's never been in your face. So now the integrationist Negroes are scared, and I understand they're scared, but that's why we are all here together to work. This is exactly why we need to support our own businesses, and I will end it there.
I appreciate that, Cheryl. Thanks for coming up
Can I say
too, by the
something?
way. Go ahead, Bakari, and then I want to
I,
introduce.
Here we
I got a
go.
question.
Just cranking up.
When we say, because I told her to turn her camera on, because I ain't know if she was black, I'm gonna let her see me. So watch this, right? So when we say it's just now, it ain't never been in our face. I guess y'all eyes been closed all these years. Y'all eyes been closed when they were shooting right in your face, when they were killing people right in your damn face, when they were lynching people right in your damn face. I don't know what state you live in, sister, but I'm willing to bet you whatever state you in, it was right in your face. But y'all think it's all of a sudden just got right in your face. It was right in your face when they sent that bigot into that church in South Carolina to pray. And after they finished praying, killed them folk right in your face. It was right in our face. Because I'm the one been telling you for years we've been challenged. I'm the one who been telling people for years to be armed and start preparing. But it was right in our face when that white boy went into that grocery store and acted like he was playing a video game with black people in Buffalo. That was right in our face. Right there. About 10 miles up the road from where I live in the bushes in an area called Winston, Georgia. I just call it all Douglasville. No houses, no nothing. 2000 and what? 18, I think, when they found a black man hanging from the tree. They found him hanging off a bridge in Ohio. They done found him hanging and getting shot in Illinois. It's been right. So where y'all been? Did y'all cover y'all eyes? Or y'all just deciding to open your eyes now? Because it's been in our face. And that's the point that I'm making when I say, and anybody who know me know I've been talking about this for years. This is why I have the things that I have. This is why I'm prepared to do whatever it is I need to do. You understand? So when we say somebody like this is a necessary evil and he's needed and it's gonna make black people do something. If it was gonna make y'all do something, why didn't it make y'all do anything doing all them events I just named?
Bakari,
I
if I
want I
can,
want to answer
Right.
that. No, I want to answer
Oh,
that.
go ahead.
I want to
Wait,
answer
wait,
Go
wait,
ahead.
that.
no. Hold on. Respectfully, War Drum has been kind of quiet. He tried to interject something, so let War Drum go. Then Cheryl, and then Buana, and then it's
and then me,
War Drum.
Yeah, I have to agree with Brother Bakari about historical events happening. They've been slaughtering people. The woman that Condoleezza Rice, the Republican, she was supposed to be at the church or was at the church when they bombed the church down in Georgia, I think it was, or might have been in Alabama. But the girls got killed. They arrested the Dynamite Bob Klan man, and you got Tulsa, Oklahoma. They dropped bombs on Tulsa. All of the black cities and towns that we had, they were destroyed. And when you group yourself in there and you want to segregate and you start making money, they're going to come and they're going to attack and they're going to burn everything that you built and they're going to kill your people. And that's just facts. So that's why I say, if you want to build something, we have to lead. You cannot build anything in another man's land. Period. That's just it, man. I'm done. Somebody else can have it.
Yeah, wanna go ahead.
Yeah, so here's the issue with what's being mentioned. Brother Bakari mentioned individual cases of individual citizens who would have harmed black people. And the problem with that statement is that's not what I'm talking about. When I say the black community say they want Bull Corner, Bull Corner is not the brother who shoot up the older ladies in South Carolina, not brother, the white man who shoot up the people in South Carolina. Bull Corner is an extension of the state. See, black people in 2025 have not experienced what the brothers and sisters them experienced in the 60s. There's a difference between individual citizens doing something and state and government actors. A government actor is like Donald Trump saying, oh, the people in January 11th, we're going to not only commute their sentences, but we're going to allow them to go free for their acts what they committed in January 19th. So now we can release these people out of prison. The state is saying, by the way, I think this is going to be the next move, is to release Derek Chauvin out of prison. Individual actors don't have the power to do that. State actors do. So when the state acting in a white supremacist way and fashion is much different than when the individuals in individual states acting and doing particular things. So you ask the sister, how come y'all ain't been seeing what's happening? Because the state is not acting. If Dylan Roof do what he do in South Carolina, I may hear about it. But if I'm in Las Vegas or New York City, okay, these people was harmed in this particular state. I don't like that happening. But things like that will never go on in New York City, even though it will go on in New York City. When the state justifies these actions, now it's a different scenario. Now we going back pre-1965. Now black people have to do certain things, because the federal government doing something, and the laws what they do in the federal government is affecting not only one state like South Carolina and New York City, but it's affecting all the people in the contiguous United States of America. When the United States says, we cut aid from Africa and Haiti, now the people in America, the black people in America say, wait a minute, what they doing in Haiti to the Haitians, they doing the same things to us when they cutting federal funding, not allowing Medicaid and the allowances of the issuances of money and medicine, what used to be allowed to us, now it stopped being allowed to us via Donald Trump. So now we could see that, hey, what they doing to y'all locally in America, they doing to us internationally. We are one. You can't ignore it now. You can't ignore it now. He is I think. This is my opinion. This is no one else's. So we can contend with that. This is a necessary evil. Because prior to that, what has black people been doing? Moving further and further away from one another. In fact, now you're getting certain factions saying, well, we have our own ethnogenesis. In fact, we Indians. We Indians. This is how the black man have us the white man have us in the Western world, saying that we have nothing to do with Africa or the Caribbean. So what is gonna bolster the opposite reaction? Since this is what the black people doing in the Western, what is gonna move people to do something that's different from that? If it's not something that's dramatic, unfortunately. Like I'll stick to what the words of Marcus Garvey, black people don't move until the black is against the wall. And I figure that this man is a necessary evil for black men to start moving in the way that they should have been more than 200 years ago. I'll leave it.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'm gonna do Cheryl and
What Garvey
Ditso.
actually said is, you don't want our back up against the wall. It's peculiar and uncomfortable.
I'll do Cheryl, Ditso, and then I have a panelist I have to introduce. He's been waiting for a little while now. So Cheryl, then Ditso. Let's go.
Okay, so again, I appreciate everybody's comments and everything that everyone is saying. Brother Bakari, I think that a lot of the things that you're saying and a lot of the things that I'm saying are kind of are similar. Yeah, and I grew up in Philadelphia my whole life. My whole family's lived in Philly. My dad was there when the move bombing happened. Um, we in it. You know what I'm saying? But um, I'm just going to say something that my husband always tells me, and it's something that like took me a long time to understand, and that is that socialization beats information. We have a wealth of information on this panel. Like there's some things that some people in this chat have been talking about that some things that I haven't known, and I do appreciate people for speaking on those things. But when it comes to socialization of our children, of our teenagers, even myself, I'm 35 years old. Um, you know, how we are socialized is the biggest factor. We can have all the information in the world. If you're not getting to children, if you're not getting to them on a personal level, if you're not getting to them socially, you're not going to have them. They're the United States, the Western powers, whether I don't care if it's in the United States, UK, Canada, they're always going to have their minds. Um, and that's why you see the interracial thing is pretty high. And if we're talking about doing for ourselves, how do you build an empire? How do you build anything if you are sleeping with the enemy? You cannot build anything. And it's not personal. A lot of people like to take it personally. Nobody, no other race, no other group of people takes it personally. When Indians do them thing, they do them thing that they marry Indian people. They don't care how disgusting their language sounds. They don't care uh, um, that you don't like their turbans and the Sikhs that they wear, the turbans that they wear. They don't care what you think. So why do we care so much what other people think when we say we just want to marry black? We just want to procreate and create black children. What's wrong with that? If a white person says, I want to just be with white people and I don't want to procreate with no one else, that's great. Up, applause for the white people. I love that because guess what? When we say that we're going to do it, that's what we're going to do. And we don't have enough people in certain parts of the world that are willing to emulate that. And that's part of the problem. That's a large part of the problem. Um, I think I'll end it there.
All right, did so. Keep it a little bit brief so I could introduce the panelists.
Sure. Okay. So I'm gonna make it very simple and straightforward. First, appreciate the sister that came in. Thank you for coming in, Ama. Highly appreciate it. I turned on my camera. You can look. I'm the first one on the list right now. You can see my face right there, Ditso. So I'm gonna grab this aspect of what Black Steel was referring to, and what I attempted to do when I gave my position. Okay, so in very simple terms, I when I make my political analysis, and something I've learned in my political life is that deterministic conclusions can be misleading. So the question is, it is not that if Trump is a necessary evil or not. The question is, he's on power. The other question is, have we had a precedent of this type of individual in power and the impacts towards people like us? The answer to that question is a complete and utter yes. So, understanding that blackness, not only in the Western Hemisphere, but throughout the whole world, is not a monolith, it's not a hegemonic, then we are faced with the problem that the rest of humanity is faced with, which is how do we continue on? How do we access our own self determination, our own self regulation? How do we grow as this diverse forms of civilization? One important aspect in regards of this is something that I spoke in another channel of indigenous aspects, is understanding the impacts of integration, adaptation, assimilation, colonization, and how those elements have given us what we have today, and how those elements function towards our relation to other ethnical groups and those who, aka, we call white race. The problem resides not on the fact of a necessary evil, but it resides on the fact that our communities have, either because of the establishment of what we call Eurocentric white nationalism, gringocentric, gringo defaultism, impede us to learn our own history of our own regions. But not only that, that we have been fed into pseudo scientific BS that some of those who have more loud voices and can be considered as leaders have pushed forward. And at the same time, we have been permissible with those like Martin Luther King or Malcolm X, to say those in the United States, or to go down in Latin America and talk about Vicente Guerrero, or talk about uh, well, right now I'm my brain has gone out of names, but anyhow, of any of those leaders throughout this last 200, 250 years, in where that permissibility has also been a cult of personality. That does not mean that one does not or is not able to say the good things that uh, those leaders have done, but also the mistakes have to be seen. Because if we don't see it that way, we're condemned to continuously giving the floor to people who should not have the floor. So, in very short and concise way, it isn't a question of if it's a necessary evil. It is a question of the evil is there. How do we go beyond that? And one of the answers to that is learning our own history. That's all I'm going to say.
Appreciate that, did so. So, this conversation kind of spiraled a bit away from the original Shoot the Breeze topic, but I let that go on because this Trump thing is an issue. And it's going to be something on our minds for a while to come. We have 4 years of this. So it is an issue and it is worthy of discussing. But I do want to bring in the next panelist because this was their prompt. And I want to kind of bring it back to what it was. Should we start number 3 was when you tell black people how powerful they are, but they don't believe you. Is it over for us? Are we beyond deprogramming. And the video attachment is of RFK, white guy, Kennedy, who's not a doctor, but he's talking about how vaccines that are for whites don't necessarily need to be given to blacks because we have different immune responses, blah, blah, blah. And, most of the panelists, when we first started talking about this, spoke about how it's dangerous and whatnot. And that is what led to the Trump conversation because Trump has these kind of people around. But the next panelist, Zuliism, hopefully he'll bring it back to what the conversation really was. So, Zuli, how are you this week?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yo, first of all, I didn't think Clinton was a necessary evil. Yeah, I didn't think Obama was a necessary evil. Yeah, I didn't think freaking Biden was a necessary evil. All of a sudden, Trump comes in. It's a necessary evil. Yeah, wild.
I'm not going back to Haiti.
Yo, wild. Yeah, wild. All of a sudden, because Trump is... Man, shut up. Now it's a necessary evil. Anyway, somebody mentioned about Tulsa, Oklahoma. Did you guys know Tulsa, Oklahoma rebuilt after that incident? Did you know that they rebuilt everything? So black people did rebuild after that. You know what destroyed it? Policies. The highway that they built and destroyed the community. So stop acting like black people didn't rebuild Tulsa after that. Do the research. I don't understand how people saying, oh, because Trump is in power, all of a sudden he's a necessary evil. So every president, Reagan was not a necessary evil? This is how I know all you ends are programmed. And basically, I wasn't here. This man said, RFK said, black people have a stronger immune response to foreign bodies coming into your body. So you shouldn't give them the shots. You shouldn't give the kids 18 or 20.
Is Zuliism cut up?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
He's still here. Ursu, can you hear
Oh
us?
damn! Did we dodge a bullet? Shit.
We pulled the Trump.
Sorry, you ain't gotta tell us, really. I'm not going back. I'm not going back to Haiti.
Bruh, I could smell the bullshit. He was cranking up with that bullshit. He was winding up with that bullshit. Come on, man.
They were.
I don't know who wants to rebuild the whole fucking town, man,
I mean,
because the
I
white
wanted
people
to.
came and blowed it the
It,
fuck up. Who
it
wants to
didn't
do
sound
that?
like bullshit to me.
I wanted to see where he was gonna land his plane on, but
Come on,
I
I want to
was.
see where the plane
In the
lands.
water.
This is medical racism. There's nothing beneficial about what this man is talking about. This man is literally saying we don't got to give black people the same vaccine. This motherfucker is not a doctor. He ain't been to medical school. He damn near finished college. Who is he? He saw some. He is the white version of what's that black dude who be on talking about we really indigenous. What's that guy's name? What's his name?
Oh, Dan Calloway.
Hello,
Dane
can y'all hear
Calloway.
me?
Thank you. He's a white version of Dane
Azuli back.
Calloway.
Azuli back. Azuli back.
Okay, go ahead. We talking shit about you, but I want to hear what you got to say.
Yo,
Yes.
Black
Please continue.
Black Steel. I just wanted to say, I understand where you're coming from. I just consider that the argument
This you're
could.
not a Zuli, bro. Let us Zuli go, bro. I mean, not
Here we
America got it
go.
wrong, man.
Here we go. Coño, ya empezamos. No joda. No. What I was gonna say is, I think the argument that you're presenting could be fine tuned to incorporate those elements that I was explaining. But I don't know. I get where you're coming from, but the exposition, in my opinion, was in need of work.
Azuli is here. Can you hear us, Azuli? All right. I think Azuli's having some problems there. Maybe that's the ancestors at work.
No, that's
Uh,
that's the Haitian internet. That's
Azuli
Haitian
came back
internet.
and bounced.
yeah. So, does anyone want to say
Wait,
anything in the meantime? I'm going to give
but I
Azuli a
don't think
chance to come
Azuli was
back.
on RFK side. I don't think.
Yeah, I want to say something.
You can never know about Azuli though, man. Sometimes
I
he
I
be coming out of left field. You
I
can never
I,
tell.
I want to say something. Uh, Brother Bakari, you need to re-invite me on your show again, bro. You know, the show isn't the same without me on it, man. You know what I mean? I know me and you disagree, but the people them love that. The people love.
Can't hear you.
We can hear you,
we
brother.
just
Can
heard
you
you.
hear us?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah.
He said
I
no.
never stopped you from coming. But Juana, I never stopped you from coming. I still call you little brother.
All right. So can
All
you
right.
hear us,
Uh,
uh,
can Kofi hear me?
guys?
Oh, I can hear you.
Everybody in the panel, guys, gals, and everyone. I do need to step off. I do thank you for having me here. Just real quickly, I think this conversation has been very beneficial in many ways, shapes, form, or manners. Um, all I'm gonna say is as follows: the best thing we can do is not to fall on the cult of personalities and the charlatans that play on fears and play on ignorance in regards to that, and that black excellence as such requires also the compromise of education and of breaking away the chains of prejudice and of misguided beliefs. That's all I'm gonna say. Thank you for having me. Buenas noches. Beshko Woblava. Walk with your eyes open.
All
All
right.
right,
So
peace.
thanks for coming. Azulism, did you fix the sound? You may have to step off and come back in. I think Bakari wanted to add something. Maybe War Drum. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I'm. It's crazy to talk about building back the town, man. I mean,
Oh,
they got
no,
more bullets than you got money.
I'm
You know what
good.
I'm
Go ahead,
saying? So
War Drum. I'll
you
wait
you
till we
can keep
go around.
building.
Yeah, Bakari, go ahead. I think Bakari has a delay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, there's a
Yeah.
delay.
I don't know what it is. I'm having technical difficulties like earlier. Azuliism is having the same problems I had. Just stopped in the middle. But no, I have nothing. I'm gonna go ahead and wait till that last one so I can give my closing and give a shout out to everybody and all that.
All right, Azulism is back. Can you hear us now? All right, looks like we're not gonna get Azuli tonight. It's something about this EV Mux, man. I don't know. There's one thing StreamYard had down pat. Someone joined the call for the most part. 98% of the time they'll get on. I don't know what it is with this one. That's a shame though. But you know what? As Bakari suggested, man, let's do shout outs. We went overtime tonight. It's cool because it was a good conversation. But let's do our shout outs. Something positive you saw or experienced in the black world, or in your black world, during the week. Since the last time we did this, which was last week Saturday. So I'll start with Oni on this one. Oni, what shout out would you like to give this week?
Well, I'm gonna shout out my family. Obviously, we decided to read some Booker T. Washington um, yesterday, and the brother, he packed a lot of good insight. I also going to say that I like that question about what was maternity rate in during before the civil rights era. I decided to look it up. I put it in the chat for those who didn't see, and it was pretty bad too during the times of segregation. So it was something that I didn't know, but Now I know. I mean, I kind of knew, but it's good to confirm it with the data. But besides from that, like I said, just being able to read some Booker T. Washington with the fam is a good thing, and that's it.
Appreciate that.
Thank you for
Oh,
having me.
Oh, no problem at all. No problem at all. Black Steel, what would you like to shout out this week?
Great show
Black Steel.
tonight. It's Black History Month, so I want to shout out Black History Month for the whole month of February. Celebrate Black History Month. I don't care what Trump or whoever is in office is trying to say. I never needed their permission to celebrate our history, and I'm not asking for it. So, happy Black History Month to everybody.
Appreciate that, Black Steel. Joe said, would you like to shout out this week?
Yeah, shout out to everybody in the panel, everybody Pan African, and actually everybody black, and may they find themselves and the right way, because it's time is short. Time is short. Conduct closing. Conduct closing. That was it. That was it.
Appreciate that, Joe say. War Drum. I think this was the first time he was on the panel. So I'd like to hear your shout outs for this week.
Yeah, we'll get a shout out to all the Pan Africans, all the ancestors, and when I say all the ancestors, I'm not just in American history either with Black history. I'm talking about all Black history. Shout out to all the Pan Africans, Ibrahim Traore, you know, people all over the world. We need to unite and get our shit together.
Appreciate that, War Drum. Hopefully you'll hang out with us sometime again in the future. Brother Bakari, what would you like to shout out this week?
Okay, I have a delay, so I don't know how long you said that, because I'm having technical difficulties too. I had to turn on I had to turn on and watch. I had to watch the live in order to be able to hear. I don't know what happened. At least it let me speak now though. But I want to shout out to everybody on the panel. I want to shout out to Sister Cheryl for coming on to the panel. And I want to tell her I apologize to her for some of the stuff I said to her in a chat. Peace, Queen. Hopefully see you. And shout out, I'm going to tell y'all, man, shout out to the BBN, Black Business Network. It's an awesome channel. Y'all probably should go check it out. The host is awesome too. So y'all probably should go check it out. Don't have no set time he going to do no show. Don't have no set day, no set time. He just do it. That's me, by the way. I'm quite sure y'all knew that. But and Bawana said I should invite him back. I never stopped inviting you. I always called you little brother, because any disagreement or debate or argument we have, and shit, I'm gonna tell you, it never stopped me feeling. Sometime I might say, you know what, I got to get away for a while, because it was a minute. I say I can't do. I'm being honest. A minute I say I can't be around no black person that supported Trump in no way, shape, or form, and I mean that. I meant that wholeheartedly. So now it's a little better, because I can't deal with nobody who, this guy let you know what he want to do to black folks, and with that, with and that's what the square I stand on, right? But we're gonna have to fight this beast. We are gonna really have to fight this beast. And anybody who know me and who been around know I've been saying we need to be prepared. We need to be training. We need to have everything. My good brother Koku is the only one that said he had the ham radio that he was studying, right? So more people need to study that, because I've been preparing for the zombie apocalypse, and now the zombie apocalypse here. I didn't do the ham radio because my homeboy did it. So we just share the same thing. So that's what I'm talking about, networking. So, bro, you don't know nothing about me. Him scared though. but but that's the thing about it, is about having a crew. So if Koku do it and he got a crew, y'all need to listen to Koku and learn how to use the ham radio. You know, get your people together and what you gonna because now is the time. The zombie apocalypse is here. It's upon us. The zombies just ain't running around everywhere yet. But the zombie apocalypse is here. But once again, shout out to everybody on the panel. Shout out and peace. I'm out.
Appreciate that, Bakari. Hopefully, Cheryl can hear me. Cheryl, you want to give a shout out this week?
Sure. So this was my first time actually speaking on this platform. I'm constantly calling, typing in the chat. I just wanted to shout out everybody here in the chat and just say hi, hey guys. And just remember, programming is done through socialization. So we got a lot of work that we need to do. We want to deprogram our people and support your own people. Don't let other people say it's wrong just to support your own people. So that's again, I'll restate, that's a huge part of the problem right there. We're afraid to be just for us. We think we have to support other businesses and other people, and that's the one of the biggest problems right there. And I'll end it there. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate that, Cheryl. Thanks for coming through. You're always welcome to come back, by the way. Is Zuliism hear me now?
Yeah, I could hear you, bro. I could hear you. My shout out is that I'm just gonna piggyback real quick because I know something happened and I couldn't
Yeah.
hear. So what I'm saying is, based on that prompt, that young lady said something important about we've been socialized. A lot of things we've been socialized. We have to deprogram ourselves. I know a lot of people when they heard that thing RFK said, they was like, oh, there you go again. They don't want to give black people the right medications or whatever. But there's studies that says that black boys are more likely to get autism due to all these shots that they give the the children at a certain age. So I know a lot of people here are probably for vaccination and all of that stuff. This is part of the deprogrammation that we must do. When you just hear this man talking about, oh, we shouldn't give black people like black, oh, everybody's offended, da 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 da. But there's studies that said that black boys get autism at a higher rate than the other race. So instead of us being reactionary and just da, 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 just like that lady said, oh, I'm gonna pass. Sometimes these people that we claim are here to give you the truth. We've been socialized for such a long time. Even when the truth comes to hit us now, we look at it as, oh, nah, that's trash. That's trash. No, these people are against us or whatever. All I'm saying is that even when black people are left to our own device, we use herbs, we use this. We don't use these things to heal us. So if we're not trying to desocialize ourselves to deeper, like we're looking at RFK, we're saying, oh, this guy is this. Why is this all of a sudden? Oh, that's it. Like I think that's why people were saying that's a necessary evil, or he should not. People should not listen to them. Have we forgotten? Have you not seen Black Apartheid? Have you not read that book? What they were doing to black people with this medical system that this lady, this senator is trying to back? All I'm saying is we need to keep our head, we need to be open-minded to be like, oh, maybe what we've been taught all this time by these so-called people that you guys are talking about we need to prepare against, maybe we should look at them differently. So are we forgetting what happened with the what is that, the syphilis thing that happened while they were giving people shots? I'm just saying, the men just said, they saying that black people's immune system responds at a greater rate than certain people. So why is that look upon that this person is being racist towards black people? I don't understand it. But that's my shout out. Sorry I couldn't stay. Something happened to my computer. But hey, Goku, it's always a pleasure, man. I'm out.
Yeah, thanks for coming through. Last but not least, let's have from Buana. Buana, what would you like to give a shout out to this week?
Okay, so let me start it. Let me start it this way. I'll start with my brother from the south. R, RFK said that because you a big believer in looking up things. RFK said in college he used to take heroin, and he said that heroin is the cause of his success in school. You know, and this is what he said. So a person who was like this with no medical background and no medical experience, and a man who was basically was bragging about taking heroin when he was in school and saying how good it was for him to take heroin. It shouldn't be a person in charge of what he's in charge of. But I mean, if the Americans,
Bill Gates was in charge of the vaccine, and he doesn't have a medical degree. What are you talking about? Did you
no,
say that he was
but
doing that?
but really you didn't address the heroin though. Bill Gates was never a heroin addict.
Bill Gates was not a medical doctor.
No, but address the
You know
heroin.
what? Next
Address
week
the
I'm
heroin.
gonna send Coco a video where a black professor said he was on heroin and heroin was good for him, and he has a PhD.
Why in the world would I?
Yeah, that's the same guy that everybody call a sellout who say he won't even tell a young black person, a teenager, not to take drugs. Doing drugs is okay. Just because he black and he said it and he a doctor, that don't mean he is right.
You guys
Dr. Carr, have you ever spoke to Dr. Carr Hart?
You guys take
Have you
pills,
ever spoke
drugs
to Dr.
from
Carr Hart?
the
Have you ever spoke
pharmaceutical
to
company forever, and they shouldn't even work for y'all. And y'all
Have you
still
ever
on
spoke to
medication.
Dr. Carr Hart?
Stop it.
Have you ever spoke to Dr.
When
Carr Hart?
when the FDA says it's okay to take a medication that actually doesn't work, when the pharmaceutical company say, "Yo, take this, take that," it's okay. But now you want to tell me about a heroin guy? Oh, please, man.
Yes. Have you ever spoken with Dr. Carr Hart?
No, I haven't. Have you?
Yes, I have. So, because you can email him. I was just asking, you want his email? I can give you his email. He will respond. He will sit there and say all that. And I asked him, did you, and I can let you see the email, did you tell your own kids it was okay to take drugs? His answer to that was no. We don't need nobody out here pushing this nonsense to our black youth. Then we gonna laugh at them when they shooting up with heroin.
Bro,
Then we gonna talk about
I don't agree with. I never said that, but it's because Boana said the guy was on drugs. I said, yo, there's a bunch of doctors that be on drugs and prescribing. That's all I said. That I'm not for it, bro.
But
I'm not for it
he was in a doctor.
But you used Carl Hart for an example, and I knew you was talking about.
because he's not a doctor. But he was on CNN, he was on MSBC, and they gave him something to talk about.
He also sold crack. He also did all of that too, and said that did not bother the black community. Him selling crack didn't hurt the black community at all.
What's going on?
He
said that as well, Dr. Carl Hart.
Biden did the crime bill. Y'all still let that thing
see,
I don't care. Stop fronting like y'all really tired about that. Shut up.
What? See.
No, I'm saying you want to. Y'all was going hard for Biden and Kamala. So when y'all talking about all of a sudden y'all want to talk about drugs, this and that. All I'm saying is, yo, RFK is saying something we should listen to and do more research on that than just being like, oh, this guy's a stupid. That's what I'm saying.
So we should do research. Should we do research on swimming in public pools made black men gay?
I don't even know what that means, bro.
RFK, that's what RFK said. That's what I'm talking about. The foolish stuff this person say. Then we should. That's what I'm talking about. He said that too. Swimming in public pools is what made a lot of black men gay.
All right. Buana, what's your shout out this week? Is Buana gone? I don't hear him speaking. Can you guys hear Buana?
Nah.
I don't hear Buana. Just glug, glug, glug.
All right, man. I don't know what's going on with the sound, but that's the show for tonight. We did some overtime tonight, but if you guys want to discuss topics of your own choosing, look for the Discord link in the description of this episode. Join the Discord, navigate yourself over to the Breeze channel, post a 2-sentence topic, and add an attachment to YouTube or Twitter or some social media that's out there. We'll be back again next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, you guys be good. Peace.
Hello there, dear listener. We hope you're enjoying this lovely discussion. If you're not already aware, this show is part of a podcast network called KWAZ Radio, a Pan-African nationalist and Garveyite network committed to showcasing the rich and varied thoughts of African people. We have an exciting lineup of shows that we think you'll enjoy, including
the Bitter Medicine Podcast.
I think black people require too much buy-in. Like, we constantly have to sell black people on things that are beneficial to black people.
The Pro-Black Perspective Podcast.
I'm fearful that our people are not really studying how to get ahead, and we're kind of, continually staying behind.
The Harsh Reality Podcast.
To me, it don't matter. I think people are so dumbed down, it wouldn't matter what you reveal to them. They still are in the matrix. They in the simulation. They're going to keep doing what they did. They lemmings. So to me, it don't matter, man.
The Learning Curve Podcast.
Sexual access has never given you economic empowerment. The only person who has ever been economically empowered by a sexual relationship is the wasp and his woman.
The Cassidra Cheek Show.
When we start rising up to fight for our own, I guarantee you they'll stop doing what they're doing. I guarantee you they would have let their brother go. They was waiting to see what black folks was going to do.
Brother Bakari Podcast.
Black people love to claim folks that hate them, right? They're a slave master, and they are ashamed of who they really are.
The 4Kast Radio.
Like, if you pray to the same deity as, like, your enemy, and that God blesses your enemy more than you may want to reconsider who you praying to,
And Tanzan, African Mind.
Africans generally are welcoming of everyone. Sometimes, to my consternation, I think that they should be less, welcoming.
If you love our podcast network, we would be grateful if you could rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on social media, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check out our website at www.kwazradio.com for more information. Thank you for